Look at this side profile. Take that in, dude. This is a board that has been genuinely interesting me for a little while now. It is very, very, very pretty. So there's gonna be a small amount of changes, it looks like, but nothing that I really would need to show you today. There's gonna be a bunch of vendors for this, by the way, depending on which region you're in. I don't remember all the regional vendors for this. The back of this keyboard, this is called the Dune65. So Keith Spencer is gonna have this, KBD Fansel has this, there's tons. So there's gonna be a lot of different vendors for this guy here. Let's go look at some of the stats here, if we shall. So it's gonna be a 3-piece design, which I think is really cool, by the way. This is where it gets interesting, right? Because the aluminum piece, we can call the weight. So it has an aluminum bottom, which is separated entirely from the rest of the board. Then it has the mid brass piece, which is a large piece of brass, if you guys haven't really seen, and then back to the aluminum. I think this is the best color, and thank you, Feather, for sending this out. This is the best out of all the colors, 100%. There's a few different colors they're offering. Pretty nice. I like what they did with this. It's also going to have a leaf spring top mount and a gasket mount, if you want. It'll also have a 1.6 non-flex cut PCB. It looks like, we'll double check in the box there. I didn't actually check that. This is designed by Kenny and Jing VV. I really like the design, guys. And then it's gonna have a default aluminum plate with half plate option. I don't know the price of what they're gonna be pricing the optional pieces at. Yeah, it starts at $350, but I just wanted to see a price breakdown. It depends on vendors. Okay, so what are the extra plates gonna cost and whatnot, Feather? And extra pieces? I think $350 for this amount of brass that you're getting is actually really good. This isn't just like a small little weight and they called it a day. This is a big chunk of brass mid piece here and a very attractive side piece. It flows really nicely throughout the entire keyboard. Genuinely, I don't think this is a bad price. I'm sitting at the page right now. You can show it off real quick. Yeah, for sure. Let me know when you're done and we can share screen. What do you guys think? Is $350 too much for this? Yeah, this might patina really well. I'm pretty sure this is top coat, or this has a clear coat though. It is the screwless kind of design here, which, you know, might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it will come with the carrying case. Mine came with this yellow one. I don't know if this is like a finalized color. I actually think this is a really pretty carrying case though. What's the weight of the keyboard? 4 pounds, 6.6 ounces. It's not light by any means. I would consider this a fairly heavy build. All right, and then let's take a look at the PCB. So overall, not bad. I don't think this is a bad price in the slightest. Now, here's some other interesting things that I think we should talk about before I actually look at the PCB. And this I had to go to the IC to get the details for. It states, and I'm not sure if this is including with the feet, an effective front height, so that includes, you know, like the keycaps and what, or the stem, up to the stem, I believe, of 21.59. But the front height, which is what we normally kind of just base things off here, it is 16.5, which is impressive. And again, I'm not sure if they're including the maybe slight raise for feet there, but under 17 mil for front height, which I really appreciate. That is a wonderful front height with an 8-degree typing angle. Might be too low. That's interesting. Hey, we all have different opinions when it comes to what we look for. Maybe this is too low for some people, but for me, that is genuinely, I think one of my preferred is having lower front heights. Obviously there's a limit to that, but color wise, I don't know if all this stuff's gonna be offered, but they've listed Moonlight Silver, Deep Sky, which is like a gray, Sand, which is the color we have now. They also have Emerald Green and a Midnight Blue. IMO. I don't like blue and I think blue is the worst color, but I think most of these colors look good. The green's nice. I don't think green really suits this board, if I'm being real with you. But I do think the rest of the colors, like the Sand, Deep Sky, and Silver, are phenomenal. I think those are great choices. So solderable unit, is this 1.6? Why does this feel like 1.2? This is a bit sharper right over here. Do you guys see that? They're rounding that off, it looks like, for the final version of the board. Because that actually, yeah, I didn't even realize this was on the outside. I thought it was the inside only. I thought for sure this would not affect the bottom, but yeah, it does look like it touches the bottom a smidge here. It might be 1.2, but the GB will consist of what states in the Geekhack page. So this might be 1.2 today. So we might have a little bit of a throw off. I don't know, I think it's a 1.2. But in terms of compatibility, assuming this stays the same, there is a crap ton of compatibility on this. We have ISO, we have split, we have different spacebar options here, and then we also have split, or split left, and we also have stepped. So we get some good options here. The board is beautiful. I think it's a pretty looking keyboard. Our plates, looking good. You can see different mounting styles being presented here. The gaskets in the top style, so happy to see that. So if you guys haven't seen these switches, by the way, these are pretty unique shaped. These are that diamond top. A little weird to put these back together, but they sound great. They're just lubed with some 205. These cannot be filmed. These have such good tolerances, by the way. I was putting these together, and the legs of these are, like, everything is just such good tolerance on these. These are very good for this. I really hope these sound good, because these are definitely more of a deeper sound signature. One smidge of, yeah, like this sharp corner I wish was rounded off a bit more, but it looks on both sides of the corners here, there's like this small little like indent thing. I just think that needs to be a smidge cleaned up. I'm hoping when it gets rounded off, it'll look better that way too. Beautiful looking board though, Jesus. All right, now I'm assuming, Feather, I don't know if, I didn't actually see this anywhere. Are these force brakes? I would assume so, right? It is, okay. Let's open this thing up. This is interesting to me as well. The ribbon cable just goes through this little slot here. Would force brake do anything? Potentially. I mean, the metals can still contact each other, creating some sort of like echo. The finish of everything is fantastic. Like even the insides here. Oh, I see what they mean by this part's sharp. Okay, so this is something they're gonna work on. It was in the notes. I'll kind of show you guys up close here, just so you guys are kind of aware as well. The really sharp edges here. You guys see how sharp that is? And here are gonna be rounded off, which makes sense. This is very sharp. It's not like it's gonna cut me or anything, but proprietary daughter board is yeah, I was about to mention that too, but it does look like they had to go with something proprietary here. I know I criticize proprietary stuff less and less these days, because you know, it does seem like everyone kind of has something they're trying to do with their daughter boards and whatnot. I would still prefer if this had some sort of universal at the end of the day. It just makes more sense for the consumer in the long run. I know I've been a little bit more lax and again on mentioning these things, but it does make sense to have a non-proprietary one in most cases. So interesting. The ribbon cable goes through this little slot, this notch on the PCB, and then you would do it like this. It's held in with 2 screws. I always use this to align right now. Oh, just kind of slots into place. All right, that's nice. I can, you know what, one thing that's been a common trend lately? I've been noticing more and more that there's like always these small little build issues. It's nice to see that I sort of feel like the designers maybe put this together once or twice and was like, oh yeah, we should make alignment tabs. Oh yeah, we should do this. We haven't fully built it yet, so maybe we're gonna miss a piece here, but geez, lately, I really feel like projects have been sort of rushy, and little things get missed, because this is by no means difficult. Now, for these, what is the expectation here? Does it go on both the top and the bottom? There's slots for these? They're fixed in the upper cover? Oh, so they go on the top. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, so do they go here and here and here and here type deal? And there? All right, I think I see how to do this. So these are gonna be like force brake things. If anyone's wondering what the heck we're doing. So I guess the first one I wanna try, because this is aluminum and normally my own preferences tell me that I normally don't like aluminum top mount. So I wanna try the gasket mount first. So it looks like we have 4 gaskets installed in the top, and then we're going to be installing 4 on the bottom. So this is a hidden screw design. We'll see if it kind of becomes easy to install. I don't love hidden screw designs, by the way. This is, again, a personal preference. Hidden screw designs are a little bit annoying because when you want to get back into the keyboard, you have to take off some keycaps. And we're just going to lay this inside here. This fits nicely. Not a lot of wiggling going on, which is good to see. Also been a problem I've been seeing in keyboards these days. All right, now let's put our top piece back on here. Wrong way. Top piece back on here. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so this kind of avoids some of that problem with hidden screw designs. This is going right past the switches. so it doesn't need you to damage your switches or install things later. Beautiful, perfect. My one gripe a lot of the times with keyboards that use hidden screws is you kind of have to go in and mutilate your switches. This has a really nice weight to it. So now that it's fully built, it was what, 4.6 pounds before? Let's see what it is now. 5.2 pounds, well, 5 pounds, 2 ounces rather, fully built. Use real units. I'm glad you said that. 2.3 kilos, 2.34 kilos. It's that big brass mid piece here. Look at this side profile. Take that in, dude. I love the way that they kind of separated the three pieces here. You know, it has like that bottom aluminum that's kind of just on its own. Even the back looks great. I will say maybe my only small criticism of this, the USB-C connector, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I've seen cleaner USB-C areas. This has a rather large gap around it. Not the end of the world, but if I want to just look at something and be kind of critical and be like, yeah, okay, maybe this would have been nice to be cleaned up. I've definitely seen like more well-slotted daughter boards. And because you're using a daughter board, you technically have the chance to clean up this kind of gap around the edges here. Again, not the biggest deal in the world. It's something you're never going to see. And I can understand why some people do it, but not with a daughter board. Not when it's screwed down. All right, let's plug this guy in. So these are W1 diamond switches. This is an aluminum plate, and this is with the gasket configuration. All right, no foam, no nothing like that. We used all of the available force breaking tape as well. Oh, this does sound nice. This is an aluminum plate. Ooh, this would actually be, because I know this is available, but the half plate would be super nice on this. No, this is not quiet at all. This big giant brass midsection here that it's kind of resting on is really doing work right now. It sounds incredibly full. You know, if you didn't tell me this was on aluminum, it almost feels like it's on like a very soft polycarbonate. There's some softness to the way this types because of the gasketing system. No, this sounds really good. I'm not gonna try the top mount. I already know I'm not gonna like it because I don't typically like top mount aluminum. Oh, this is popping, dude. This is actually like a pretty ideal sound signature for me. I'm not gonna lie. Some scratchy cherry switches on this scooped would be super hot as well. There's silicone, which I'm a little bit surprised by because typically silicone, when you don't do it right, sometimes you get like a thuddy sound, but this is like a nice clack. These are long poles, yes. They're the W1 switches from Keybay Tech. I'm also telling you, these switches hit different. I put them in the Kaze, like another variant of these switches, and these sounded really good. Low front height too, you know, if we want to talk about that. There's not a lot of objectively wrong things with this board. There's some subjective things, like I personally would love to see the USB-C tightened up a little bit, you know, just the machining around it. They've already mentioned they're going to remove some of the sharp points of the keyboard, so I'm not going to really harp on that. The build of this is fine. I would like to maybe see a proprietary daughter board in the future. If anything, you know, like the one thing I will say is just create files publicly once this is done running. They did a good job with this board. I think the two designers of this board should be very proud. This one turned out sweet. Bye everybody, love you. Ooh, this does sound nice.